Today we'll talk about generosity and giving. And I would just pose a question for the audience, like, what reasons do we give in the first place? What are the benefits of giving? And what is the best way that we can give and be generous people? And so there's a sutta that talks about this in Anguttara Nikaya, Book of Sevens, Sutta 52. And Venerable Sariputta gives 8 ways, 7 of which giving is not of great fruit and great benefit, and 1 which is of great fruit and great benefit. So that's what I'll be going through today. And so the discourse starts out by a group of lay followers approaching Venerable Sariputta and say, hey, we haven't heard a Dhamma talk in a long time. Can you give us a Dhamma talk? It's like, okay, come on a later occasion. So on that later occasion, they ask the Buddha that very question, is there a way in which giving is of great fruit and great benefit, and are there ways in which it's not? So the first way in which one will give, which is not of great fruit and great benefit, is giving with a mind that's bound, which is looking for some kind of reward. And this seems to be some kind of material reward, thinking, I'll help this person out, and maybe, they'll buy me some nice robes, or maybe they'll buy me a car, or maybe they'll do this for me. So you can see the intention is already not very wholesome from the outset, that you're not giving selflessly or without any expectation, but you already want to receive something back from this person or from a group of people. He goes on to say that giving, looking into the next life, so thinking, when I pass away, I'll make use of this. So the first one was about some kind of material gain that you'll receive on account of giving. This one would be, when I pass away, I'll use this great merit that I've accumulated to go to heaven. So it might very well be the case that you do give and you do go to heaven, but it's this mind that when you give, you're already expecting something from return. And so it's not an entirely selfless form of giving. He moves forward to say that another form that is not of great fruit and great benefit. So giving is good. This is the thought that people have. Giving is good. So it's very theoretical, or it might be something that you've heard, or it might be a belief that you have. And so you're acting out of belief, but not really fully understanding giving itself or the benefit of generosity in giving. And so we can perhaps pause here and wonder, do we hold these forms of giving? Do we give expecting heavenly, illustrious, glorious rebirth? Or do we give expecting some kind of material gain coming back to us? Or do we give simply because people have told us giving is a good thing to do? And I want to point out here that Venerable Sariputta is saying that these are ways of giving that are not of great fruit and great benefit. There's still benefit, even holding a dogmatic view that giving is good and still giving. It does have its benefit, but it is not the highest or the most beneficial way that we could give. So, moving on to the next point that Venerable Sariputta points out is that we give because it is a family tradition or a custom. So for many thousands of years, my family's been giving food to the monks, or been donating to the homeless, or whatever it is. And so that's why I do it, because my family's been doing it, or the people in my country have been doing it, or my village does it. And so this is following the crowd, or at least following the family. And so it's taking on a custom, again, not understanding the value, or the real reason, or the real benefit that could be gotten from being a generous person. He goes on to say, and I find this one to be quite comical, quite funny. It's, I cook. These people don't cook. It's not right that I should cook and I should not give to these people. So it's almost out of a sense of pity. Maybe there's some compassion there, but it's like, I'm in a better position. I cook. These people don't cook. I should give to them. The next point that he mentions is to emulate these seers and these Brahmins who used to give great sacrifices. And these sacrifices weren't always food, it was animal sacrifices and so forth. And I don't think this one is so common, at least here in Malaysia. I think this might have been more of a way of thinking in India, because these ancient seers were, Bharadwaja and Vasita and Kassapa, these ancient Brahmanical families. And then the last one, which we can already see where the sutta is heading, the last point that Venerable Sariputta points out is that one gives a gift thinking, this makes my mind joyful and placid and light. And this already sounds great, right? That's why I'm giving. But again, this time it's not so much receiving a material reward, but a mental reward that I give, so that by giving to this person I can receive and enjoy this joyful feeling. Now we have a meditation practice for this recollection of generosity, where that seems to be very much the point. And so again, this is not the highest form of giving. Nevertheless, joy and benefit is what we can receive from giving. And it can be used as a tool, which brings us to the last point, which Venerable Sariputta says, this form of giving is of great fruit and great benefit. And this kind of person gives thinking, giving is an accessory of the mind, an ornament of the mind, a tool of the mind. And what he's saying here is that this form of giving, it can lead to the ultimate liberation. It's a form of purity, of purifying the mind, of making the mind beautiful, of making the mind wholesome. And ultimately, giving itself is giving up. It is a form of relinquishing and letting go of our material possessions. It's just a very skillful and precisely given kind of gift, because giving with discernment is most beneficial. And it is said that giving to the Sangha, because we are renunciants, because we are making an effort to strive for the Buddha's ultimate goal, that giving to the Sangha is of great fruit and great benefit. But there are other forms of giving. There are plenty of homeless people out there. There are many foundations out there in which giving to the world would also be of benefit to society, to our countries, to the world around us. So I'm certainly not a person who says, just give to the Sangha. But give to the world, and give to the world with discernment, knowing where you can give and how you can give in such a way that would be of most benefit to people. So these are the 7 plus 1, so the 8 points that Venerable Sariputta talks about in this particular sutta. And it's just an opportunity for us to reflect and think about, why do we give? Are you giving for material expectations, or for joy, or you want to spend time with the Devas and the Brahmas? So it's an opportunity to think about why we give. And the ultimate form is really giving because this leads to purity of the mind. What comes to mind is another sutta, I think it's the Relay Chariots, I forget the Pali, but it's a Brahmin, Janusoni, he's questioning one of the monks, and he's asking, do we lead this holy life for purification of sila, for purification of mind, or so forth? He goes through many lists and is known that that's not why we lead the holy life. So we don't lead the holy life, or we don't lead lives as Buddhist practitioners, lay followers, simply for giving itself. But giving is ultimately a foundational aspect of leading a good holy life as a householder, as a lay practitioner.